Hello everyone, this is Yoshimitsu. I thought I would make a short video to describe to everybody my thoughts about customizing joystick and gamepad axes and their sensitivities. I have been playing a lot of Overload, Soul Contingency, Descent Underground, and the old Descent games in the last several months, and my experience with all of them has led me to this. I think it's an interface that would work beautifully for any 6 Degree of Freedom game where you need to individually customize axes for each different direction. So, without further ado, here we go. This is a rough mock-up that I made in a simple drafting program just to get the idea across for what I personally think would be a good interface for axis customization. So, in this window, we have here the 6 different movement axes that we have access to, whether it's actually moving the ship in the 3 different axes, or turning to look around. And I would like to be able to customize each one of these individually. The original Descents have this ability already through the source ports D2XXL and DXX Rebirth in some form. It's incredibly useful for people like myself who use 2 joysticks or other odd control setups where you have different hardware which might not feel the same as each other. So being able to set them individually is extremely useful. I believe Soul Contingency also has this, and I would as does Descent Underground. Overload is the one that's missing it, and it is a detriment to the game because their rolling is much too fast compared to the other directions. So I would like to be able to set them individually. In addition to that, I also want a little bit more control over the actual sensitivities and what they do. I don't just want to be able to set my maximum turning rate. I also want to be able to set my acceleration. And a number of the games, I believe Descent Underground has this in some form, and I know that Soul Contingency does, and it's extremely helpful. But I don't think either of them has the full control that I am looking for. So, what I would like to see out of every 6 Degree of Freedom game in terms of this is an interface something like this, or possibly a different graphic, but the ability to set these options. So you have here control for one axis. In this case, I have pitch selected. And the controls that I want to be able to set are, I want to be able to set my maximum turning rate once I push my joystick all the way to the edge. So, in order to set that, I take my acceleration curve and move this end. And currently, I am adjusting it along this axis so that if I move it down here, I will never hit my maximum turning rate. This is what I want in Overload. I want to be able to adjust where this is in order to have my roll speed max out at a lower rate than they have programmed in. On the other hand, you should never be able to move it beyond this maximum point and get an advantage over other players. The maximum should be maximum. Going back the other way, I can move my max turn rate along this axis so that I hit full turn speed sooner, and I don't actually have to push my joystick all the way to its limit in order to get my maximum turn speed. I myself will never use this, but I wouldn't be surprised if other users would. So I would like the option to be there. The final control that I want is the ability to adjust the acceleration curve. That is to say, something like this. So that when I push my stick, say 5%, rather than moving at 5% of my turning rate, I am instead moving more like 10%. So I get a faster jump out of the gate, but I still have variable control moving towards maximum. And Soul Contingency offers this as their sensitivity option. And it's something that greatly surprised me. I thought that I would want a shape like this, so that closer to the center of the joystick it would be less sensitive, and out towards the edge, when I'm approaching my max turn rate, it would ramp up. As it turned out, playing that made it feel sluggish. So I went the other way instead and discovered that I had much better control over the ship and was flying better. Other people had the opposite. So, again, this is an option that I think would be beneficial to a lot of people. I also know that this is a very dense interface and that it might be a little bit confusing. On the other hand, the ones that we already have are confusing anyway, so it's at least another alternative. And I know the Descent Underground team has asked for suggestions about interface, and having given this a lot of thought and played through various games in the genre, this is what I have come up with as something that I think would work, at least for myself, possibly for others. So, if anyone has any feedback, I would be extremely interested to hear it. If the developers find this useful, so much the better. If they don't, at least the idea is out there, and you can see what I've been thinking about. Thanks all.